Hello everyone, it's Kristen Redman, Astrological Intuitive, and today we are going to talk about this wonderful spring equinox that we have. This is the most important time of the entire year for us in astrology because this is when the sun moves into the sign of Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac. And it resets the entire wheel for all of us. So this is New Year. This is the new astrological year. So if you didn't make your resolutions going into 2019, this is going to be the best time for you to do so, because now we truly are going into the new energy of what 2019 is about. And 2019 is a really interesting year. It's a year of abundant blessings that come to us from what we've manifested, from those thoughts, from those things that have happened to us over the past couple of years that have been very, very trying, that have really called on us to say, what is it that you want? And what is it that you need to let go of in order to let these new things in? And that is what the spring equinox represents every year regardless, is the new beginnings that happen from the endings that we are releasing. No matter what in life, we're always going to go through those cycles of death and rebirth. But the theme of that is much stronger this year because we've had a lot of the death, a lot of the letting go in the past couple of years with all the energy that's happened. Now, as a result, because we're having faith in letting go, wonderful things are coming in. And this is really that energy now that we're going into the spring equinox of springtime, rebirth. This is where the new energy really starts to come in. So let's talk about it for a second here in terms of what this new beginning is all about. Okay, we'll start by explaining what Aries is. Aries is the first sign in the zodiac, and it represents all things that deal with the first house as well in astrology. And that is the self. It's the beginning of the wheel. So this says, this is who I am. Aries is the sign that says, this is who I am, and this is why I'm here. Now, as the sun moves through the sign of Aries every year, it shines a light on that quality in ourselves, saying, who am I and why am I here? Aries is the sign, it's a fire sign, okay? So it's going to be very motivated. It's the most motivated of all the signs, okay, because it's known as the warrior. It's the one that initiates. It's the one that instigates. Because deep inside, Aries is that warrior. It's the one that fights and blazes new trails. And it says, I am going to lead this, whatever it is. I'm leading the charge and I'm blazing new trails to get there. I'm going to fight through and I am going to leap based off of my strength and courage that I have inside of myself. And that's what happens for all of us when the sun moves through the sign of Aries, and especially at this time of the equinox. It's calling on that inner warrior inside of ourselves to say, I know what I need to do, and I need to have the courage to do it. Of course, right? That's a very important thing for all of us. And it's even more so this equinox because we have other things that are happening that are Aries related that that call on that energy, that inner warrior within us to really stand up. Now, one of the things that's happening today as well is that we have the sun in the sky aligning with it's an asteroid that's called Chiron. Now, Chiron just moved into Aries, where it has not been for 50 years. And in the world of astrology, when we have these slower moving transits, that's when we step up and we take notice because those have the larger impacts on us overall. Now, Chiron represents our life's greatest wound. It teaches us the greatest things through these repetitive wounds that happen in our lifetime. But in your birth chart, it's going to tell you where that one is in particular. Now, with all of us, with Chiron moving into Aries, which has just happened I think it was a month ago, what that's really calling on is it's asking us to accept who we are. Because remember, Aries is a sign that knows who we are and why we're here and what our strength is and our courage and our ability to be independent and stand up for ourselves. as Chiron moves through that, we're going to have a lot of series of challenges that really call on that inner warrior to stand up for what's best for us. It really calls in to ask, who are you? And by doing that, it's going to make us face our personal flaws and our own personal wounds to our personality and what we see as flaws to ourselves, that ultimately over the course of the transit we are going to learn to accept those and know that that's what makes us who we are, and that's part of our personality. Now that energy is extra infused into this time of new beginnings, of this equinox, because you have this beautiful energy of self-acceptance. The sun is aligning with it at the time of these new beginnings and rebirth. That's beautiful to have in the first place. Also, what we have at this time, smack dab same day, we have the full moon in Libra that's happening. Now, where Aries represents what's best for the self, its opposing sign Libra on the other end of that scale is focused on relationships. Now that access between the two instantly makes us call into question at the time of these full moons the balance that's happening in our closest relationships and how we are benefiting out of that and how we are giving back to that as well, and if those scales are balanced. Because we have this full moon energy happening right at the time of this equinox. Remember, the spring equinox is the beginning of the new year, and whatever is happening astrologically in that time is going to carry that flavor for the remainder of 2019. The main focus of it is those Libra scales of balance. We are looking at balance in a couple different ways. We're looking at it from, let's look at the Aries side of it, of the self, our mind, body, spirit balance and that connection. I think that's a theme that a lot of people are getting more in touch with, at least the clients that I see and in my friendships and in my own personal life and the things that are happening around. It's such a main focus that all of our souls intuitively know we need to find that balance between what our mind is thinking, our body is what we're putting into ourselves, and how we're treating our spiritual health as well. A lot of energy is in that, okay? And because we're in a full moon, this is a time to let go of those things that don't work for you. Not only is it a matter of, well, I'll get to that in a second. Let's go to the other side. So we've got the mind, body, spirit of the self, and focusing on strengthening that over the course of the remaining year, because the more we're balanced, the better things are going to work in terms of our relationship health on the other side. Now let's get to that one. That's the Libra part. That's the full moon. Mainly focused on the other person and the other people in our lives and where those scales are balanced in these personal relationships that we have, right? So when we have these full moons that happen, full moons always represent where endings have to occur, where cycles have reached their completion. Having it start at the beginning of the astrological new year says we are carrying old baggage in from these releasing patterns that we've gone through over the past couple of years, where we need to recognize where cycles have to end. All right, especially in relationships, because Libra is focused on those relationships and we want to be focused on balance. So if this is a time frame where you're ready to really let go of certain circles that hold you back from either the mind, body, spirit balance connection, or if there is an unbalanced relationship in your life that has been plaguing you for the past couple of years, this is a time where you'll have the courage, remember Aries, courage, to really release that and let that go and accept it for what it is. That's been the hardest part, is accepting that that cycle no longer fits your soul for where it's at now. So we have this energy of new beginnings from the spring equinox that's pushing that to happen if you're willing to let it go. And then right behind it, we have the ruling planet of Mars, of Aries, which is Mars. Mars is making a connection to the planet of ending those cycles, Pluto. This hasn't happened for 2 years. Is that ironic? No. It's the way that God intended for it to be. This is the time frame where if you haven't been able to release that relationship, release that toxic habitual pattern that you put yourself in that's detrimental to your mind, those toxic thoughts, those toxic negative self-thoughts, beating up yourself, saying I'm not good enough, saying I'm not worth it. All those things fall into Aries, remember. If you're ready to let those go, if you're ready to stop these cycles that are bad for your body, if you're ready to stop these cycles that keep you from communicating with your higher self and your spirit, this is the time that's going to be one of the strongest, because the new year is ready for you, the new you to emerge and to release. And with Mars and Pluto making this harmonious trine to one another, and because Mars is in the earth sign of Taurus, it's very practical. It's making you actually not just have the courage to leap, but to leap and to stick with it, to make those strides, to be that strong warrior that walks in firm faith, to making sure that he sees his goals achieved and to make the changes necessary. Okay, such a wonderful amount of energy that we have going on out there right now. Now is the time for you to just actualize and realize that this is around us, especially our Aries friends and our Libra friends. These are people that have their natal birth chart, sun, moon, or ascendant in Aries. You're going to be feeling this new year energy even stronger than the remainder of us. You're ready to let go of these cycles, and I tell you what, the universe is behind you, behind all of us, okay? Find that inner warrior. Tonight is a night where you look into that beautiful full moon that's out there and think about the cycles of completion that are happening for you and that have been occurring over the past 2 years. And knowing that that inner warrior is in you to give you that courage to accept what is and to move forward into new beginnings with renewed strength and hope and faith for the coming year. Thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to follow my YouTube channel here. I do videos about the energies that are happening out there for us. Follow my Facebook page. I let us know on there every week what's happening in the skies and how it impacts us all. If you want to have a personal reading, there's a link below as well to find out what this new year has in store for you as well. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and have a wonderful and blessed new year. Bye.